Malcolm, I love to ask everybody as well, first of all, thank you for coming on, but I love to ask everybody before real estate, because typically nobody starts their life in real estate, although 18-year-olds are nowadays. But before you became a realtor, who were you and what was your journey into getting into this crazy profession?
Yeah, before real estate, I was in the Air Force. I did that for 11 years. I had a great time. I was planning on doing it full career, 20-year career. I stationed in Japan for a couple years, stationed in Maryland for a few years, and stationed at the White House for the last 4 years of my career. And so while I was stationed at the White House, my son was born in 2015. He unfortunately has very severe intellectual disabilities and autism. And I traveled a lot when I was stationed at that assignment. And so obviously it's like very hard on my wife being home with me traveling with child with disabilities. So I was like, okay, this is it. I've got to get out of the military. And I just getting a 9 to 5 job isn't really going to help me very much as well. I need something with more flexible hours where I can work from home. I can help take care of our kid and have that flexibility. And my mom was a real estate agent at the time as well. So I talked to her a lot. And in 2016, I got my license while I was still in the Air Force. I think I closed maybe 4 or 5 deals that first year doing a part-time. 2017, I got out of the military, went full-time as a real estate agent, and haven't looked back. Like that was actually the best decision I've ever made in my life, was to go take this really big risk and really big chance and start a new career as a real estate agent.
That's awesome. I love that. So you're in Maryland, right?
Yep.
At what stage in your kind of real estate career did you start diving into social media? Because that's a really huge part of why I asked you on. I hope to share some of what you know and also selfishly take that information for me to learn too. But when did that start, or how did that
Yeah.
you?
Years before I even got into real estate. And so when I was like in high school, I was really interested in film and I was making little videos, my brother and friends. And I remember when I was really young, I wanted to grow up to be like a movie director. And I put that on the back burner. But then once YouTube came around, I started multiple YouTube channels and I started
Oh,
creating
really?
content for YouTube. And when I was in the military, I started like an outdoor survival YouTube channel that I was uploading content to. It's called Survival Know How. And I uploaded that channel for a long time as a hobby, just for fun. At one point, I was making up to $10,000 a month from this YouTube channel.
Wow.
So I was able to turn it into a business. I've got
Wow.
multiple videos, two videos over 2 million views, maybe a dozen
Wow.
videos over 1 million views.
And you don't do that one anymore?
No, so is about 200,000 subscribers. And so kind of on my timeline, I've had that channel for a long time. It's a fun niche
Yeah.
to focus on. I used to get a lot of free gear. I have tens of thousands of dollars of free like camping and survival gear in my
Oh, I love
basement.
that.
People would send me to make reviews. So I had a divorce in 2021. And at one point I was thinking like, okay, I'm just going to go full time on this YouTube channel. And I started doing that. I started creating 2 videos a week, and I got burnt out really quickly. Like I not leaving the house, making videos in my basement, sitting on my couch editing.
So you weren't like on out in the wilderness doing it. You were just talking about it.
A lot of the stuff, it depends on the videos. As like a single parent, like a lot of the stuff I was filming in a little studio that I had set up. And then I live back to the woods. I go out back in the woods and film some content. But I actually just got really like lonely and like really just burnt out from filming 2 videos a week. But even though I had this YouTube channel that I built that making $10,000 a month off of it, I just got burnt out from it. And
That
it was
makes sense.
around this time that I also was joined Real in 2021. And I just made this decision, like I could keep focusing on this YouTube channel and keep trying to grow this and just be a full-time YouTuber, or I can focus on Real and growing this community, growing this brand. And that actually really excited me. Like in 2021, Real was still the underdog. When I joined, we're less than 2,000 agents. We're only in 30 some states. Everybody was spreading misinformation and like propaganda about our company. And it kind of excited me to be part of this little project
Yeah.
to something bigger. And Real has a community. It has interactions.
Social.
Yeah, we're being just like a YouTuber who films videos in his basement. I didn't have that. And so I made this conscious decision to focus on a different YouTube channel, to grow Real, and I've been consistent with that channel for about 5 years now. And that's been this pivotal moment in the business that I've been focusing on recently. And so my 200,000 subscriber channel, I haven't uploaded to it in years. It's still there. Maybe one day I'll go back to it.
Interesting. Yeah.
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 But
So when you first got into real estate, were you working with your mom? Was she local with you?
yeah, her and I would
Okay.
work on quite a bit. She mentored me and helped me out at first. We started a team for a little while there. My sister-in-law was also a real estate agent, so the three of us would kind of work on stuff together. And yeah, it was a nice couple years working together as a
Did
team.
they move to real as well?
Yep, they're
Oh,
both at
good.
Real.
Okay. Okay. What was this show's not about real, but I'm just curious, what caused you to feel that was a good move that early on? Because
Yeah,
to your point, it was in the early phases of it, and there was a lot of misinformation about it. And I think that's the case for anything that's starting anew.
yeah. We were like the underdog, and there's a lot of just a lot of the challenges educating people on it. And I got out in 2017. I immediately started doing videos and trying to experiment with videos. I had this background in YouTube, and I was like, how can I figure out how to use YouTube to generate leads? I was one of the very first people to really figure that out. I started teaching a course on it and started a Facebook group teaching other agents how to do that. And so in 2018 or 19, I got connected with Tim Macy, and he had a Facebook group called RATV at that time. He invited me and a handful of other people out to a private mastermind that he put on all about video. Brad McCallan was there, Tim Macy, a few other people, and we kind of mastermind about video. And so when a lot of these agents ended up joining Real in 2020, so I had this connection with them. I knew their focus on video, and it just sounded exciting. Hey, you got this
Right.
underdog company. We're similar to EXP, but we're going to do things differently and, in our opinion, a better way, and make these tweaks to the models. Like, we saw what didn't work, what for them, what did work, and we're this underdog. And so, dude, that sounds really exciting to get in early and do what I do, which is YouTube and like creating content and help grow this company. So really, it's the agents that came over that really got me
Right.
excited.
Yeah. And that was interesting to watch from the outside looking in who was joining. It seemed like everybody that wound up joining, especially in the beginning, was really successful in social media and video. And so it's been an interesting community to learn from for sure, because I feel like I'm always looking up to who's in it, because everybody's, oh my gosh, how can I get there?
Yeah, at my previous brokerage, I always felt like the training came top down. It came from like corporate, hey, here's our approved training, sends it to the broker. They find people, agents to teach this training in the market center. And I feel like at Real, the training is ground levels up. Like, it's agents with boots on the ground, experimenting new things, and they're like, hey, look at this. And the training is like, hey, look at this really cool thing I figured out just last week using AI, or check out
Right.
this video that I did that absolutely crushed in my market. Here's everything I did. Go try to replicate this in your market. And
That's what I find the most unique and interesting, because I've been licensed since '04, and I've been with multiple brokerages from the most corporate to the all types. But this is the most unique brokerage I've ever experienced, in the sense of everybody's take this and try it and see if you can be as good as I am at it. And that's where I think it's so cool, because we all know it's just like with being in production. If you and I went on a listing appointment, they're going to choose you over me or me over you for a variety of different reasons. So we're not in competition, we're in collaboration. And so if I find something successful and I can help somebody find success in that, and I don't care if they live 2 doors down from me, I still think that collaboration is the most unique part of this particular brokerage, because everybody wants to share the secret sauce versus holding on to it. And I think it's so cool, because the innovation and the creativity, and everybody's trying something new all the time. But then it's not just trying, it's, oh my gosh, you guys, this is what I did. And then they bullet point it out, step 1, 2, 3, or 4. Some people will try it, some people won't. Some people will have success, some people won't. But nobody's afraid of sharing. And I think that's the most unique part of all this, or this
yeah,
particular brokerage.
I think what's really interesting is I feel like, so like every brokerage wants to be able to claim that they collaborate, but there's a really famous saying like, show me the incentives, I'll show you the results. And I feel like Reels found a way to create the incentives for us to collaborate. And part of that is, well, one, like you're getting training from people outside of your market center. If you're only getting training from people in your market center who you're directly competing against, there's a financial disincentive for them to teach you what's working because you're directly competing against them. Us being a nationwide community and that we can learn from each other, you and I are different states, we can learn from each other. That's really powerful. But also the fact that we're publicly traded. And I think Tamir says 20% of this company, the stock of this company is owned by the agents. So we have that ownership, which gives us an incentive to give back to this community. I got a good bit of real stock. And so like I give back to the community and I want this company to grow. I want agents to do well. And I have that incentive like built into the business model. And I think the traditional brokerage model does not have that incentive. What is the incentive if you're in a market center at a franchise owned by one broker, you're competing against all these agents? Where's the incentive for that collaboration? It doesn't exist. It's actually a disincentive.
And sadly, the umbrella brokerage, if it's franchise, it's owned by a broker, the umbrella is inwardly competing against the other franchise. So it's not, you're not like the company's not even working together because it's, oh, franchise A and franchise B are in the same county, but they're highly competitive against each other. And so the training, even if it's corporate, it's still competitive if you think about it.
8%. That's absolutely a real thing where different market centers compete to try to get agents from one another, try to attract agents. And there is no
to take them from the same brokerage, because I've seen this in real time, to take them from the same brokerage to another franchise of the same brokerage is a win, which to me, that seems counterintuitive, really.
It's built into their business model. Show me the incentives, I'll show you the results. They're incentive.
And then I remember when I was in a franchise brokerage and a percentage of my commission went to corporate, but now a percentage of my commission goes to my own personal stock. And so it's like such an upside down. It's like, why am I paying to corporate? I don't know what I'm getting from it. So it always confused. There was no way to negotiate that 5%. Like, I don't have to take 5% of my commission to stock. I can hold on to it and it's up to me. But I just find that interesting platform, really.
Yeah. And the truth is, I think in the future, like the franchise model is dying. In 5 years, 10 years, there's going to be very few franchise models, and cloud brokerages are like, it's just a better opportunity for agents. It's better collaboration, better incentives. And I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, all the biggest brokerages are all going to be cloud-based brokerages in some way.
And it can be very lonely, like working outside, because when I first got in the business in 2004, it was just a buzz. The office was so much fun to go to. And everybody go on tours on Tuesday and happy hours on Friday. It was a super social experience. But that's not the same anymore, because you go into any brokerage or even title company now, and there might be one or two people at all ever. And so it's not the same vibe. And we're all trying to create community where we live. But part of the value of this brokerage is you can find that community even if you're behind the screen. That can get lonely, but there's a lot of really amazing events that we can meet up. And you and I just saw each other in Nashville. It's like those are the ways to re-energize yourself, to get back to your lonely environment. If you feel lonely about it, you can create social experience no matter what.
Yeah. I think like here at Real, we're definitely trying, we recognize that. And like we have the Further Together events that agents are putting on. I'm speaking at a local event in 2 weeks down in Virginia Beach that an agent is putting on. And like a lot of people are trying to put on local masterminds and just get people together, get that belly to belly, face to face interaction.
Yeah. Because even if I wanted to go back to the corporate office, it still isn't what it used to be. And it will never go back to that. It just won't.
Yeah, I think after COVID, after 2020, like everybody just got comfortable with video calls like this. And
I have to be honest, and because I grew up here in Tampa Bay, but I moved away for quite a while. But when I came back, and the franchise brokerage that I joined, I was 90% of the time the only agent in there. You have the front desk receptionist and the broker and a couple of assistants. But even then, and that was 2017, people were already working from home. and taking their laptop on the road wherever they are. That's the easy
Yep.
part.
That was my experience. I was at a KW office, a small one. I rented an office for $500 a month. I was the only real estate agent in there. My broker even worked from home. He almost never came into the office. And it's just like admin support
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
there. Like that
yeah.
is, it's just what it is. And even today, like I do all my buyer consultations virtually, and the buyers find it more convenient. Like this is the expectation, saying, oh,
Yeah.
hey, I need you to drive 30 minutes and meet me in a physical office. That is not the expectation from buyers anymore. They expect
No.
virtual consultations like this.
And even virtual showings. Most of my buyers are not in state,
Mhm.
so what a nice savings it is for them to not have to buy a plane trip ticket to rule out 5 houses they don't like. I can spend a whole day touring, FaceTiming, or sending videos to them, and then once we get the vibe of what they really want, then they book the ticket to
Yeah.
get down. So then, because it's really, but okay, let's get back to your YouTube world. So you started a channel that was educating people about the brokerage. Was that your
Mhm.
first one that you started with in real estate?
Nope, 2016 when I first got my
Oh,
license, I started a YouTube channel, started creating content about real estate, trying to figure it out. And I eventually realized content that people are searching for about your local area is really what they're looking for. And I had a video, 10 things to know before moving to Maryland, that I did in 2017 or so that really took off. And interesting, I also had a Facebook version of this video, 10 things
okay.
to know for moving to Maryland, 2017, and it went viral like within my state. I think it got
Oh,
900,000 views, hundreds of shares, and on Facebook, which was really exciting. And that one post actually got a couple of deals from that post, and that's when I was like, okay, there's
I'm on
something.
to something. Yeah,
I'm on to
yeah.
something. There's absolutely a way to generate leads from videos. And so, yeah, I have a lot of videos all about Maryland, moving to Maryland, pros and cons of living in Maryland.
And you can recycle those all the time, right? So the
Um,
same questions,
yeah.
typically.
Oh, you mean remake them like every year?
Yeah, like
Yeah, you
the
could.
version of what maybe has changed or what you've learned or
And I'll tell you a mistake that I eventually made on that channel, though. So I was
okay.
making all local content, right? And on YouTube, it's really important to have one target audience. And in this case, the target audience should be people living in your area or people wanting to move to your area. And in 2018, 19, like we're still trying to figure this business model out. And I made one video that it was a little bit broader of a topic as 10 hacks to pay your mortgage off early. And that video blew up on YouTube and it got, I think, a million views on YouTube. This one video that I did, which sounds great, except it's not my target audience. It was people all across the
All over
country
the country. Yeah.
who have no intention of ever moving to Maryland. And like my number of subscribers like doubled, and it's like crap. Now the super
They're the
niche
wrong
channel
people.
is now a nationwide channel. Yeah. And when if I have people subscribe from this video about paying your mortgage off early, and then I upload a video about, hey, check out this local park in my local community, nobody's going to care. And that matters because if you have the wrong people subscribed, they won't click on your video. So your click through rate goes down. If they do watch your video, they're not going to watch it very much. So your audience retention, which is a metric on the video, will go down. Your video will not perform as well because you have these sort of like dead subscribers. You have subscribers who are not interested in that topic. So I had to pivot my channel and start as, okay, I can do this. I'll pivot this and I'll start making nationwide content. And I'll start
Okay.
making videos about the nationwide real estate market and home buying tips, home selling tips, interest rates, refinancing, pay, all this stuff. I did that for a while. That type of content is not good at generating real estate leads, right? It's a completely different
Right.
business model, but you could be a YouTuber and you can get AdSense from it. You can do affiliate marketing from it.
Okay.
I've been talking to Jeb Smith recently, and he makes $150,000, $200,000 a year from referring people from his YouTube channel to mortgage companies, and he
Ah.
has ownership in the company. But anyway, I did that for a little while. I had a nationwide channel. I got that channel up to 27,000 subscribers, I think. And then I got bored with it and I moved on to something else. And then most recently, I started another YouTube channel wanted to keep it local. And this time I use HeyGen to do AI videos. And I created an AI avatar of me and I made a video for every single city in the state of Maryland, 256 cities. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start like a referral company. I'll generate leads from YouTube, then refer them out to these different agents. And I did that, and the channel's successful. I think it's 14,000 views a month organically on these
Now, wait,
AI.
you said, did you start a channel for each city? Did you
So I
say?
started one channel for the state of Maryland, and then I
Okay,
created one video about moving to each individual city using AI to create the script, and then an AI avatar, and then a VA to edit those videos, add in images of
right.
those cities. And so I was working on that for last year, and the channel itself is somewhat successful, but I realized that like that business model of generating leads and just referring them out sucks. You have to find agents that will actually work these leads,
That's
and then
true because it matters who you refer them to.
yes, and then trying to track down those agents and hey, are you calling this lead?
Right.
Did you call them right away? And hey, did this thing close? Do you owe me a referral check? There's actually a lot
Did
more
you get a lot
management.
of leads from that? A lot of referral leads from that?
Yeah, yeah. It's my one of the mistakes I made with it though is that I created a YouTube video and an article about every single city, and then I did a forced registration. So after a minute, there would be a pop up, and they have to register to continue reading the article or watching the video on that page. And at one point, I was generating like 100 leads a month
Wow.
throughout the state of Maryland.
Wow.
Yeah, but their forced registration leads are not the highest quality. You send somebody to your Lofty website, they look at three properties and they forced registration. It's not really the highest quality. And like those types of internet leads, they're similar to Google pay per
That's
click.
top of funnel, right?
Yeah, maybe you can convert them at 1%, 2%.
But that's
And,
like, to your point, like when you do through your CRM a listing boost and people
mhm.
have to register to get information. Most of the time, they're just window shoppers.
Yeah, that's part of it. And so finding agents to work these internet leads that I was getting challenge. And I essentially, like, why am I doing this? One
Of
of
course,
the
you wouldn't get paid unless they convert.
Yeah, yeah, and I have
Yeah.
one agent who does convert them, and I just give him most of my leads. I get a few referral checks a year from him, but here's the business realization that I had. One of these like fallacies that entrepreneurs have is that they build a business that's somewhat successful, and then they want to go start a new business, and they want to start a new business. And I was doing this, and I could have scaled this business, and I could have figured out a way to manage these agents, and
Yeah. Create like a membership to or the referral program or whatever, where
like I
agents
could
pay
have
to
done
be
that.
part of it or something.
Yeah, and I could have done that, but at the same time, I'm at Real and I'm focused on agent attraction. I made about $300,000 last year from agent attraction versus I made $20,000 from referrals. And I was like,
And worked your
wow,
tail off.
why don't I just put that time into doubling my network and like just focus on one business? Why am I doing this where I'm starting these different businesses, different YouTube channels? I should just focus on one. And can I
But
get
you
this
like, but you
business?
like the challenge of the new stuff. I feel
I do.
like,
Yeah. I'm
and
ADD.
I feel like when I met you in San Antonio, and I think you were just starting this idea. I think it's that challenge of can you create something that is unique and the innovative part of I'm just reading into you, but
Yeah.
that's what I think a lot of us as agents that have the squirrel brain do because we like the newness and the excitement of creating something that no one else has created.
And sometimes you have to fight against that urge, fight against that.
100%. And you watch that like with Alex Ramosi or any of the successful entrepreneurs. It's like it's the mundane grind that you have to work through and get past. It's like Ed Milet. Is what behind the scenes is the boring day to day stuff that isn't glamorous or fun. And if you keep reiterating and restarting, you'll never get to that. It's just like a constant like restart.
Yeah, yeah, like you only get so far. And Hermosi's talked about this before. Like people get to $100,000 and they want to start another business, and instead get that $100,000 business to $1 million.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
yeah,
that's the non fun part. That's the non sexy part. Because it's like the fun part is like getting to the 100. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
But then that middle phase, what in those charts where it's like that, it goes down, goes up, goes down, then all of a sudden it takes off. But it's that middle phase that a lot of times I myself am guilty of pivot, pivot. I want to
Yeah.
start the YouTube. I want to start the TikTok. I want to start, and you never get past that low to
Yeah.
high phase.
And truthfully, when it comes to YouTube and content creation, once you figure it out, then you just gotta keep doing it and be consistent at it for years and years. Like it's that I know what to do. I just gotta like consistently do it. And yeah, you get bored as hell with it. Hermosi's talked about this, like this is common for people, and you gotta find different ways to be creative, but keep it narrow, keep it down
Mm-hmm.
that one path. Find ways to scratch that creativity itch in that path. And
Right, right.
I try to do that when I can.
But it makes sense. I think it's super great that you tried that because it can be something that could work for an agent. But maybe the lesson you learn is make the plan for the referral part of it first and then start it.
Yeah, I think the
Build
lesson
out
that I
like a little referral partner thing first and then find that agent or
yeah,
even hire, like you could almost AI that.
at this point,
Like
yeah,
AI ad out there of I'm looking for referral agents on autopilot. I can, based on my experience, I can ensure that you're going to get X amount of leads per month. All of us have paid for lead stuff before. So that could just be like a, you only pay me at closing, but I'm wanting to find the best of the best and make it competitive. Like I want
yeah.
only gold star agents here.
I think like there's definitely a business there, and a big part of being an entrepreneur is what you say no to. And I think
Point.
another big part is like realizing what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And what I learned from this experience is I don't like managing people. I have all these send them leads. I tell them, hey, here's the script to use. Here's like how you should follow up. Try calling them speed to lead. Call them at least 3 times before you give them up. Give up. Set them up on a drip campaign. And like when they don't do it, I don't like holding people accountable and like managing them. And that's okay. There's people who love that. What I like doing is marketing. And I have this agent attraction thing. Why don't I just do that, Malcolm?
Yeah,
It's
that
that easy.
makes total sense. It's like building out a team. My business partner and I, we were building, and to your point, we're providing all the breadcrumbs, and we realized that we only wanted agents that had proven their success before coming with us. Because if an agent is broker hopping because they're waiting for the magic answer to success, but they're not willing to do the work, that's not the right fit. And that's probably the same for the referral agents. On paper, they might look great, but
Yeah, yeah, it's the same thing. And yeah, once I realized like what my strengths are, marketing, my weaknesses are managing people, cool. Focus on this one business, Malcolm. Stop getting
yeah,
distracted. There's so many things I could do. So I've
right,
also
right.
thought about, man, with HeyGen, why don't I start like an agency where I get avatars of real estate agents and I create the content for them, and I can create Instagram content and YouTube content for them and start
That's
an
true.
agency for them. That's a great business model. And like I gotta
Then you're
say,
managing people again.
yeah, I got to say no to that. Yeah, Steve Jobs has this great saying that one of the greatest strengths he ever developed was the ability to say no to great ideas. And it's just because it's so easy to have great ideas, and you just got to say no to all of them and stay focused on one.
And that's true. I think that because I've got very good friends that don't have an entrepreneurial brain, and I'll be on walks. I'm like, oh my gosh, you could take that idea and do this, and they're like, no, thank you. But I
Yeah.
think when you have that kind of that dreamer brain where you can envision how it could be, but then the implementation sometimes is where it's like, never mind. I'll skip that. I'll start over with this again.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. My biggest advice is like one business. Hermosi actually has, I think he calls it the 1-1-1 rule: one avatar, one business until you make $1 million a year. That's his rule.
I
He doesn't
love
want to
that.
hear about other businesses. One business until you get $1 million a year. And I think like it's possible as a real estate agent to get to $1 million a year, agent attraction get to $1 million a year. Like just do that.
But
You
what do you
know.
say about somebody that I want to start a YouTube channel, but then I also want to do Instagram and then add it into TikTok and do the shorts? How do you advise somebody that do they pick YouTube as their main thing and then the ancillary that they feed that to the others, or you know what I mean? Like how would
Yeah,
you advise
I
somebody?
would I would say that. I would say don't try to be a master of all the platforms. Pick one and go deep on it. It doesn't mean you can't have a presence on these other ones. Most of your time should be focused on one platform. And for me, like that's YouTube. And I still have a presence on Instagram and TikTok, I guess I do. I think it automatically posts to TikTok and Facebook, but those are not my focus. I'm focused really on one platform. And I know people who are vice versa. Katie Day is very focused on Instagram, not so much YouTube. She has some stuff on YouTube. It's just not really her focus. Her focus is really on Instagram. So yes, I would say go deep on one platform and 80% of your time on one platform, maybe 20% on the other ones.
That makes sense. And if an agent wanted to start on YouTube, would you make the suggestion to do kind of the local moving to this area, like educating them about that? Or do you have a niche within YouTube that maybe is a little uncharted right now?
Yeah, so there's multiple. I've identified four different business models work well for agents. So it depends on what's your goal. One business model is doing nationwide content, right? I did this model for a
Like you did.
while. Yeah, I was telling you about this video I did, 10 hacks to pay your mortgage off early. The AdSense that I got paid from the ads played on that video is about $13,000 from that one YouTube video. And it is because YouTube, they pay videos that are about money and finances. The advertisers pay more to be on those videos. And somewhere over the years, like they paid a lot to be in front of that video. And so there's a business model there where you can create nationwide content and that can build your brand and start relationships. It's not and make money from ads and affiliate marketing, not great for lead generation. There's another model where you can create content for real estate agents. And so like this video right here, this is for real estate agents.
Right.
And there's a business model there. It can, again, create your brand and potentially get referrals and help educate people, provide value. Not great at generating real estate leads though. So those two business models. For consumers, we have local content that is doing really well, the stuff that people interested in who are researching moving to your area. So best neighborhoods in blank city, this city versus this city, 10 things to know before moving to this city, 5 things I wish I knew before moving to this city. These types of videos do very well. The challenge with those videos is that now in 2026, people have been making those exact same videos for years. Really since 2020, that model really started exploding. So a lot of agents are finding it very competitive to make that type of content. And what a growing trend is that we're seeing now amongst content creators is to lean into your unique point of view. And so what I mean by that is like, if you hate Trump, talk about how you hate Trump in your videos. If you love Trump, talk about how you love Trump in your videos. If you're a Christian or a Muslim or Jewish or gay or whatever you are, lean into that audience a little bit. And that used to not be the advice, right? We used to say,
Right.
hey, create content for everybody. But today, when things are really competitive, people who hate Trump will love that their real estate agent
That's a good
also hates
point.
Trump. People who love Trump will love that the real estate agent also loves Trump. And the riches are in the niches. And you won't create content for everybody, but create content for your unique point of view, your tribe. That's the trend, and that's how you compete against there being so many YouTube channels out there. Now, the fourth business model is creating listing videos. And there's a few people who have really success with this. Brad McKellen does these beautiful luxury listing videos. They're very entertaining. He's been doing that for a long time. And that works very well for him. And he gets a lot of listing referrals or listing leads from that. Raj Sahu does a YouTube channel all about listing videos, and his are much more, hey, I'm just walking through this house, check out these 9-foot ceilings, look at this granite countertop, look at these oak floors. And they're very different types of videos, but his niche is really new construction. And that model works very well if you have a lot of new construction in your area. So listing video YouTube channels seem to be working for a lot of people. But again, the caveat to all of this is first mover advantage is a real thing when it comes to YouTube, in my opinion. And if you have 10 other YouTube channels in your area doing that type of content, the ROI may not be as high as if you would have started this 5 years ago when there's 0 other people in your area doing this type of content.
And I think that the big mistake that a lot of agents make in this is they do it consistently for 3 months and get nothing, and they stop and try another channel. Let's focus on Instagram now. And then 3 months later, now I'm going to go back to YouTube, but just do listening videos. And I think it's the doing whatever it takes for as long as it takes.
Yeah.
And I think that while all platforms are fabulous, one advantage to YouTube is it's owned by Google and it pops up as a search and it's evergreen. So, to your point about your surviving channel, people are still looking at that stuff
Yeah.
however many years later. So, that's the beauty of YouTube. If someone's going to invest time and a little bit of money, that there might be better payout over time, but it's how long it might take. And I know as many YouTubers that did it for over a year before it hit, and then all of a sudden it hit, and now like 87-90% of the business is from there. But that first year, they had to still do the regular real estate stuff.
Yeah. That is like one of the biggest benefits of YouTube is that it is the second largest search engine in the world. A lot of people go straight to YouTube when searching for stuff. It is owned by the first largest search engine in the world who often shows YouTube videos. And now YouTube videos are indexed by AI. And oftentimes AI will cite YouTube videos or even give you links to YouTube videos. So in my opinion, YouTube is the best platform to get discovered by a new audience. And whoever your target audience is fantastic for getting discovered by that. If you think about like Instagram and Facebook, for the most part, when you're watching Instagram and Facebook, most of the content are by people that you already follow. It's already closed loop. They're now starting to show more people that like you don't follow, but it's usually like the really viral videos. It's hard to get discovered. And so like those platforms, what you really got to optimize for today is like the shares and people sharing your videos and their stories. But I would say to your point, the formula is like consistency. Being consistent is really important. And if you're starting on YouTube a month in, you're not going to see any leads. You're not going to get leads 2 months in, 3 months in. You may still not get any leads. You really do need to commit for 6 months to a year. And it's consistency and trying to get 1% better with every single video. Because I've seen people who have been consistent, but they were consistently doing the wrong thing. And you have to try to get just a little bit better. And I'm constantly trying to do this. I'm constantly trying to change my lighting setup and my framing and my editing style and trying to research a little bit more and add in more graphics and animations. I'm still trying to level up my game constantly, my thumbnail game, my title game, all of that. And so it's consistency and trying to get 1% better with every piece of content that you create.
Does it matter on YouTube that you're consistent on the day and the time that you publish content?
I don't think so. I'm very inconsistent with that, and I still do well. I think where it may matter is for the human beings watching your videos, the actual audience. If they get into this habit, hey, today's Thursday, Malcolm puts out a new video today. They get into that.
Like we do with Netflix shows, because it's like I wait till Wednesday night the new Survivor's on. It's like that kind of things. You do know the cadence of something that you enjoy.
And here's the thing though, like that is true for really big brands, really big content creators. Is it true for real estate agents? I don't know. Do people?
Yeah, I guess I would make that a stress point for somebody of doing it. If you're committed to doing it once a week and you're like, oh shoot, I can't put it out on Thursday at 2, then I'll skip this week. You're better to put it out on Friday at 9 than skip it.
Yeah. And this is where it gets tricky hearing advice from major creators of millions of subscribers and like trying to relate that to your local channel of 200 subscribers where you're talking about your small town of 10,000 people. Not all that advice is going to be applicable. And I would put that in that category of posting consistently at the same time, same day each week. I'm pretty all over the place with my personal stuff. And I don't think anybody is, oh, Malcolm's going to post on Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Can't wait to see his latest video. I don't think it's as important.
That's a good point. So curious, are you still in production or are you mostly just focused on educating agents and attracting agents?
Yes, I've been a real estate agent for 10 years. And I was able to step out of production finally 2 years ago. And like, I remember I was in production and I was focusing on content creation for agent attraction. And I was finally just, okay, I need to make a switch here. If I could complete out of production, maybe I could put out twice as much content, make it twice as good. And so about 2 years ago, I was referring all my leads to an agent in my market. and I get a handful of closed referrals every year from that. And really just agent attraction is my one business that I'm focused on. And
Love
here at
that.
Real, I got to about 1,000 agent network, a little over 1,000 agents, made about $300,000 last year from that. But I know that some of the top agents of this company have 10,000 agent networks and are making $3 million a year from agent attraction. And so my mind, I'm like, let's just focus on one business. If I did both these businesses at the same time, I want to transition to one business. Can I scale this? And where will I be in 5 years from now? I think I'll be doing pretty good if I can stay consistent with this for another 5 years.
So on that agent attraction channel, how do you stay with new ideas every time you post?
Yes, that is a struggle. When it comes to YouTube, the riches are in the niches, right? But my niche is a single company. And how do you, like, I asked myself before, is that too small of a niche? Do I need to go wider? So far, I've been able to find content to do that. And it's also how I've been trying to be more creative with my content to keep it interesting. And so a couple of things I started doing, like I do interviews like this with agents and team leaders and leadership at Real. I bought 3 cameras and I started filming these in person. And
I
that
love
makes
that.
it a little bit more interesting, kind of builds the brand a little bit more. I used to do comparison videos like Real versus EXP, LPT, Epic. And I started saying, hey, let's make this more interesting. What if I actually have an agent on from LPT, from Epic, from EXP, and we do a side by side comparison? He's representing his company, I'm representing mine. And like, I've never seen a video like that before. And
No,
so,
I love that. It's convinced me that yours is better type of thing. Kind of like what you see these political debates where they're all like around tabling it.
yeah. And like the challenges with those kind of comparison debates, you always know that the person's biased and trying to,
Of course.
they're not even at that company. How do they know what the culture is like there, what the training or technology is like there? So having somebody from that company and we're doing a side by side comparison,
I love that.
it's part of our core values of collaboration over competition, and
Right.
it's like the best honest content. So that's like another niche that can provide a value or like another bucket of content. One thing piece that I want to do is Alex Ramosi does these videos where he has somebody on. It's like, great, tell me about your business and let me break down your business. And here's my advice for you. I want to start doing a series where I do that for agents, but I talk about Real and be like, great. So you need lead generation. This is how Real can help you with lead generation. You need training. This is how Real can help you with training and how Real can help improve people's businesses and fix them. And so again, like it's finding these little creative ways to keep it interesting,
Yeah.
right?
So you're talking about those agents would be non-real agents or real agents that are struggling in their business?
Yeah,
Or both.
maybe
You actually can do
maybe
both.
like somebody just joined. They don't know all the different benefits, all the tools, all the training that we can get here at Real, or somebody is at another company and dude, this is how we can help you fix your business. Here's my advice, exactly how to implement these systems and processes and tools that you get here at Real. And I bring that up because it's just another interesting way for me to get creative, do something new, but still stay in that like lane, stay in that niche.
I like that. Malcolm, thank you so much for your time. I do like to end all of my interviews with the same question, which I know where you'll go with this. But if you had to move from Maryland, pack up and move to a state that you've never lived in before and an area you've never lived in before, but had to start all over again with no agents yet, you have all the knowledge, you have all your experience and everything you've ever done. What would you do out of the gate to start raising to where you are now?
Yeah, so if I was focused on production, my answer may actually surprise you. What I would do today, brand new city, I would actually create Instagram news videos. And so I think part of this game that we play is also you're chasing the next big trend. And
Mm-hmm.
truthfully, like most cities, like YouTube did very well for me, but I got in very early. And most cities now have 10, some cities have 20, 30 channels all making the exact same content. It's very saturated for some of the bigger cities. And what I want to jump into that? No, not really. The biggest thing that's going on right now is these Instagram news channels. And they're blowing up. People are growing big brands, big followings, generating a lot of leads from them. And there's still a lot of like virgin territory out there where nobody is doing this in that market. And if I was in a market where nobody else is doing it or only one or two people are doing it, that's what I would do right now, today in 2026, is these Instagram news videos. I'd probably use AI and have an AI avatar, probably hire a virtual assistant and create a whole workflow and system so that can be put on autopilot. And I just manage that business. What I would do today in 2026 if I was in a brand new market.
And then if you wanted to also focus on agent attraction, you get production going so that you had your income okay, but you wanted to transition to where you are now with agent attraction, how would you start there?
Okay. Yeah. With agent attraction, so there's a couple paths you can go with that. The first thing I would do is tap in all the relationships that I already have and make a list. Here's everybody I know. And don't just like text them, hey man, you want to join Real? Go and invite them out for lunch and like connect with them, provide value, build those relationships, reestablish those relationships, and then see if it organically can lead to a conversation like that. That's the first thing that I would do. So the biggest networks in this company were built on personal relationships that they had with agents previously and really strong relationships. And I would also still create content. I would create YouTube videos about this company just because that is not a saturated market.
No, you're right.
I'm really the only person doing it at a high level, and there's still an opportunity for me.
Plenty of room. Thank you, Malcolm. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for listening to Rewriting Real Estate. If today's episode challenged your thinking or gave you a strategy worth trying, share it. The right move at the right time can change everything. Subscribe and listen in next week for more insight, more momentum, and more ways to grow your business your way.